Hi guys, I'm Erik Voss, and the movie Annihilation presented some of the most perplexing science fiction concepts we've seen in recent years. Directed by Alex Garland, who made the amazing film Ex Machina in 2014, Annihilation stars Natalie Portman as a biologist joining a female expedition that's totally not the new Ghostbusters, exploring a mysterious meteor crash zone filled with trippy psychedelic mutations. Now, you may have walked out of this movie a little confused, and that's okay. It happens to all of us. It doesn't mean we're dum-dums, even though the studio worried we might be. It just means this film did its job to challenge our minds and keep the conversation over what the F we just saw going on and on, the ride home, all the way to YouTube for answers where, hey, welcome, I'm here to help. I got those answers. So I'm gonna explain Annihilation's ending, what it all means, all the big questions, so spoilers ahead. Okay, let's start with the first question. What is the Shimmer exactly? So the Shimmer is the name given to the expanding region affected by this meteor, which crashed into a lighthouse on Florida's Panhandle, mutating everything in the swamp to look like an acid trip. Which is funny because as someone who grew up in Florida, that's exactly how it looks normally. The Shimmer is most likely some kind of extraterrestrial organism, a whole new kind of alien attack that's driven more by its biological life cycle than any interplanetary conquest, which is really more of a cliche sci-fi agenda that just comes from our own assumptions about alien species. In this movie, Tessa Thompson's physicist character, Radek, describes the Shimmer as a prism that refracts light and radio waves, but also refracts the DNA of plants and animals within it. That refraction is what causes everything to mutate the way it does. The gator to have second rows of teeth like sharks, this bear monster that absorbs the final emotions of its prey, plants that grow in the shape of human beings, intestines that slither around like snakes. And if you watch closely, this film sneakily foreshadowed this refraction idea early on when Lena and Kane's hands are seen refracted through a drinking glass. But there's a basic biological function that serves as really an extended metaphor for the Shimmer that the film gives us as a sort of roadmap. Which brings us to our next question: what does the Shimmer represent? There are several ways to interpret this film, but one analogy that the film gives us is cancer. In the opening scenes, Lena introduces us to the idea of cellular biology in a lecture to her students on cervical cancer. The cancer motif comes back repeatedly. Lena compares a crossbred flower plant to cell mutations of cancer in the human body. And later, Dr. Ventress reveals her cancer diagnosis, which is really her personal motivation for entering the Shimmer. Looking at the Shimmer as a growing tumor on the Earth's surface makes this film a lot easier to digest. The various doppelgangers operate like cancer cells, which duplicate and eventually annihilate the original cell. And the repeated expeditions of soldiers and scientists being thrown into the Shimmer could represent the various failed treatment methods the medical community has attempted to control different forms of cancer over the years. There are even some emotional parallels. Radek reflects on how horrible it was for Shepard to die screaming, perhaps a nod to the debate among some cancer patients over the value of trying to fight prolonged battles against it. I mean, really, if you think about this, you could argue some extraterrestrial race concluded that the most destructive weapon against Earth, both biologically and psychologically, is a form of ecological cancer. But to say this film is just about cancer is really too surface level. So what is Annihilation's deeper meaning? Well, as Ventress tells us midway through the movie, it's really all about self-destruction. Yes, biologically speaking, cancer is a form of self-destruction. Lena explains how cancer cells annihilate other healthy cells. But just as the coding for their own self-destruction is embedded in cells, stemming back to the original one-celled organism on Earth, this movie extrapolates that idea to people as well, suggesting our own behavioral self-destruction is inevitable. Radek cuts herself, Thornton is an addict, Shepard is broken over losing her daughter, and Lena destroyed her own happy marriage by cheating on Kane. The Shimmer triggers each of these women's self-destructive tendencies. Notice how the moment they cross into the Shimmer, Lena flashes back to the night she cheated on her husband. And later, the house they encounter is a version of Lena and Kane's house. The Shimmer is reflecting Lena's own guilt and memories back to her. Now, Lena's mistake grows as a metaphoric cancer until it consumes her marriage, reflected in her physical struggles, which leads us to the next big question: what the hell happened in the lighthouse? So after Lena learns that the Kane she saw earlier was her husband's mutant doppelganger, there's this crazy scene in the cavern below with Ventress allowing the refraction to transform her body. Then a drop of Lena's blood mixes in, resulting in this metallic-looking form that mirrors Lena's movements. This is a metaphor for Lena's battle with the version of herself that she is transformed into after her failed marriage. Her only escape is to destroy one version of herself by burning it up with another phosphorus grenade, which seems to sear all of the mutant mutant outgrowths of the Shimmer. To return to that cancer metaphor, this could be compared to surgical removal of a tumor, a drastic, destructive option that doesn't always remove all the traces of the cancer. Which leads us to the mystery of the movie's ending. Is Lena a clone? Was the version of Lena that escaped the lighthouse and the Shimmer, getting interrogated by Benedict Wong throughout the movie, Lena's original self or her doppelganger? Now, it looked as though it was the doppelganger that got burned up, but the film's final image leaves the question open-ended, with a close-up of her eyes glowing. Hey, kind of like the end of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Actually, if you go back and scrutinize this film frame by frame, there are other clues snuck in there that hint Lena's post-Shimmer self is the mutation. Remember, she suffered a concussion when the doppelganger attacked her in the lighthouse, and the switcheroo definitely could have happened during that blackout. Also, during the interrogation, you can see the water on Lena's glass mutating. But ultimately, this ambiguity is the point. Alex Garland's original ending was planned to be even more ambiguous. An earlier script draft didn't even show which Lena made it out of the lighthouse. By the way, that alternate ending closed with a meteor shower, showing even more of these Shimmer radiations making their way to Earth's surface. In that final version, Lena's blood was infected by the Shimmer the moment she walked into it. Either way, interrogation, Lena could have been lying about the events as we saw them from her perspective. And either way, the versions of Lena and Kane at the end of the movie are completely different people from the ones we saw at the beginning. For a movie about self-destruction in all its forms, it's fitting to end on a marriage that has been annihilated by its own toxic mutant form. But I want to throw it over to you guys. Do you guys think the Shimmer meteor was meant as a weapon by some other alien race, maybe to mutate Earth to terraform it so that they can move in? Or do you see the Shimmer as the alien species itself, and it just like hops from planet to planet like some kind of viral infection? Comment with your thoughts down below and tweet me directly at Erik Voss, and follow New Rockstars on Twitter for updates on our videos. And subscribe to New Rockstars for more deep dives in the movies you love. We've done similar analyses of movies like Blade Runner 2049 and The Shape of Water that you really might like. And if you really like us and you want to help us grow, you can contribute to this channel on Patreon. Big thanks to all of our donors, especially Kenny Smith. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.